Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I didn't hear any sound, but I thought maybe one of your outside lights or something was acting up.
Yeah, no. And did you thought it was on the place was on fire, huh?
Well, that idea crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it was, but I just wanted to make sure that if there was something that was catching on fire, that found out what it was before.
Yeah.
That's a good way to catch a house on fire. Yeah. Yeah. That's awful. Close to the curtains over there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to run. I ain't going to stand around and try to help you carry all this shit out of here. Yeah. It's like, well, okay.
Oh, here, let me get some coffee. Anyway, I remember that Vorticial Accelerator model thing, the demo model, the electric drill powered Vorticial Accelerator.
Right.
And you know what I did? I tried it out. It had it just wasn't strong enough. Couldn't withstand the forces.
Right.
A lot of force in that root. So just a tiny bit of warble in there caused it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, how they go, mass times velocity squared over r is centrifugal force. So yeah, you got 1 kilogram, and it's got to be an SI unit. So 1 kilogram times, say, the velocity. So you got 1 meter per second squared. So 1 kilogram times 1 squared is 1, and over, say, a radius of 1 meter. Then the centrifugal force produced is you don't know 1 times 1?
Not
1 divided by 1?
Not at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't.
Anyway, the fact of the matter, here's the real fact. In arithmetic class, in school, they teach you and say, okay, what's 1 times 1, right? 1, right? That's 1 squared. 1 times 1 is 1 squared, is 1, right? You work with 1, it's going to be 1. The math don't work in the real world. The real world says, okay, from an increment from 1 to the next step up, because see, 100 squared, what? 10,000, right?
Sure.
If you take 1 squared, 1. 10 squared is 100, right? 1 squared really isn't 1, it's really 10, because the next one up is 100, right? Right. So if you were to set up a logarithm has to go 1, 0, 10, 100, 1,000. See what I'm saying? And or depends on what base that was, but if you start figuring, say for instance, you want to figure out say you want to figure out, say hypothetically you got 1 kilogram and you want to figure out how many newtons it produces around a certain radius, and it's all ones, the math don't work. Unless you divide the radius, say the radius is smaller than 1, then the math still doesn't work. You have to get it to a value that will actually produce a result.
Got to be greater than 1.
That's right. It's got to be bigger than 1. That's why physicists go 10 to the negative power.
That's why they wrote that song. 1 is a lonely number.
That's why they use 10 to the negative power. 10 to the power of this, 10 to the power, because 1 to the power of it doesn't do shit.
Right.
It's fun. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a useless number. We ought to change it. Just start counting 0, 2, 3, 4.
see, in a sense, you know, in a way it works because you think about just the it's a mathematical anomaly. Like there's one set of numbers I was messing with the other day, just practicing some long division, right? Trying to refresh my brain how to do this shit. Because I get so used to either calculating in my head or, you know, or using these calculators or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, well, I was trying to do this thought experiment here. Thought occurred to me. It's like, well, you know, just see, let's find out if we were to take the speed of light, right? And say we wanted to say, hypothetically, I wanted to know what the diameter or the radius, or diameter is 2 times the radius, whatever. So I wanted to know what the diameter of a angular vector, okay, would be if you use the speed of light on the outer edge of the vector. Of the rotation, okay, and you set it up so it's 1G, 9.8. 9.800665.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's the gravity constant. 9.800665. I think that's right. Don't quote me. And look it up. I always have to look that shit up. Anyway, yeah. So so in my notes here, I got it in my notes. These are particularly, my notes are totally incomprehensible. That figures. Anyway.
That's usually the way my notes end up working.
Yeah.
So what the hell did I write?
Anyway, so I did 3 basic thought experiments, and I'm not done. And I was trying to figure it out because I had to figure what you got to do is you take, in order to figure out what I did backwards, is with a set amount of centrifugal force at the outer edge to find out the diameter. Anyway, the result is the diameter is freaking huge. Well, it was thought, well, you know, it's the thought is a speed of light experiment. Could it be done to use angular momentum to establish the velocity by using, we got conventional rockets when we go so fast, right? But if you spin something from the inner edge, see what I'm saying? You spin it from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the velocity. So you take the amount of velocity a rocket can produce, stick it out on a stick, put another one going the other way, so they go like this, and you push it from the hub, like you're turning a wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to it doesn't have to. Rockets are limited to how fast you can go because of how fast the material can come out the ass end. And if you put that on a stick out there, that outer edge is going to be way fast, right? Okay,
right.
So you got that principle. So I start thinking, wow, okay, what's the diameter? And the diameter of it. I can tell it was huge, a huge number. And anyway, so I thought, okay, well, so if we could put a camera in each one, okay, how much can a camera hold in terms of gravities? You know, how many kilograms of force can you apply on it before the camera goes, right? Okay, so if you could get a camera that could handle 25 G's or 50 G's, Well, that radius for that, still freaking huge. It's like, so I got to this where I wanted to go, well, what would happen if we call, what do we get? And then, well, the calculator's not going to, fills up too quick, goes over the number of numbers or whatever, produces scientific notation, or convert out of scientific notation. And it still rounds up, it rounds down, it's not an exact number. Well, I wouldn't know the exact number. So, well, to do it, to divide by r, c squared, which is 881, 401, 672, 764, 233, 289, point. Okay, that's fine. 289. Anyway, that's the speed of light squared. To divide that by, our radius, we figured our meter was, we use the speed of light as the circumference. So 1 revolution per second, or 1 hertz, 1 cycle per second, produces the speed of light. Because the circumference is the speed of light. So 1 time around is the speed of light. And I wanted to find out how much centrifugal force it produced. So I start dividing whatever, here I'm trying to divide. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions. Or you can say tera, and then next one, whatever. Okay, but so 891 quadrillion, 401 trillion, 672 billion, 764 million, 233,289 divided by, divided by 149, yes, 49,896.241.5 meters. It's huge. See, yeah. So and guess what? The centrifugal force will be tons.
That's why
tons.
The little green
1
man
gram,
needed such big spaceships.
Yeah, you do that. 1 gram on the end of the stick will end up weighing thousands of tons. Mm-hmm. What was interesting about it was the very first one with the gravity at 1g. The angular frequency was slower than our galaxy turns. Or was it? Anyway, it was like 0.00005 something. Here, what I wanted to show you is this. Remember this thing? I made this the drill powered Vorticial accelerator.
Well, it don't look the same.
It don't look the same. Well, it didn't hold the forces because I remember I put this and I showed everybody how that when it spun around you could demonstrate the Euler force, which is the force that causes it to go up inside because of the off angle from the centrifugal force against the centripetal zone. Okay, so anyway, it didn't do it. It got spinning around, and it did it while I was trying to, it's got to be able to stay on there with nothing in it to demonstrate that it don't do shit without any kind of motive mass inside the thing. Okay, and by doing that, it demonstrates that it's actually centrifugal force that's making the thing do it. Okay, anyway. We're going to go. I'm going to show this to the camera how it didn't work. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put a monitor on this so I can see on the front. It's just a mirror. It's a convex mirror. It's a perfect size mirror. It's one of those, tiny ones for your, automobile mirrors.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, did not work. Broke into bits. So here's what we do to solve the problem: is decide to make this thing work. We're gonna make the hole bigger. We're gonna use a piece of off thread, and we're taking one of my favorite little bells. I took it apart. When Christmas comes, I might want to put this one back together. But I have other bells. But to do this demonstration, I decided, well, this bell's perfect. It's not going to break down. And if I use all thread, it's not going to come apart there. See, so it's plenty strong enough to hold those forces. And then this handle just threads off. And then let's see, we want to put one of these ends is goofy already. It's got thread, so I can just chuck the drill right into it. As I put a nut on it to. There it is, where it stops, and then let's see, we'll just take the bell thing, brass bell, thread it on there. And then I'll probably want to cut it because I want it to.
See, if you had that chucked up in your drill already, you could have just squeezed the drill and it would have been screwed right on there.
Well, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have so much fun
Exactly.
playing with it.
Right.
There it is. See? And then that'll tighten up with a wrench on there. And zoom, baby. So probably then I need to put a nut. See, I need 2 nuts because I'll need a nut on here. Another one to set the height of this thing. So
right.
But it'll make it adjustable, so I can try different stuff, mix different materials, watch it do different things, or watch it do the same thing with different materials.
Too bad that bell's not taller.
Right.
You kind of run out of surface for the material to travel in rather quickly in something that short.
Well, the thing is all it's got to do is escape out of there. Having been accelerated horizontally in an angular fashion and then escape out of there linearly into the centripetal zone where it gets converted back into vertical angular momentum again. So centrifugal force causes pressure on the centripetal zone, so centripetal force causing it, and because it's off angle, Euler force causes it to rise, escape out of there. Then Coriolis force is the force it experiences as it's trying to leave as it's leaving the axis of rotation, and it produces linear momentum, and then it's absorbed and made into work at vertical angular momentum. So the whole thing, when it's all the actual thing, made out of laminated pole pieces and wire, electromagnets, and this smuzz in here, this stuff. This is what goes in the actual one.
That isn't square on there.
Don't have to be. The bell is not true.
Yeah, well, I was looking at it when you were holding it. It looked like it was offset.
Or the offset's bit. Anyway, so this what goes in the actual motor transmission assembly.
Yeah.
This is magnet powder, magnet dust, and it gets this along with some other cooling fluid and blah blah, but a bunch of other stuff in there, in the formula to make it do its thing. And electromagnets moves it around. That electromagnet, that permanent magnet down in here. Must be because it's not in there. Anyway, I wanted to. What happened to the electromagnet? I mean, what happened to a permanent magnet that was in there? Well, that's a drag. Permanent magnet piece. Well, that bites, man. That really bites. So I used it, it didn't go back. I had it out there, I didn't put it back. That's not right. How did that happen? Okay, well, have to use a different magnet. Yeah, so anyway, see. It's not as strong as that other magnet. So you get a better result through a thinner material. So basically, the thing you're going to have, the actual unit will not have anything preventing, anything blocking the magnetic field. It'll be right on the metal inside. And there's the. What happens is it's inside the. I don't have that other magnet's perfect to demonstrate because I can flip it over and change the. You can see how it changes poles. So basically, inside the thing, the material is doing this: flop, 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 rolling through there. Mm-hmm. So there's minimal resistance that way too. And so inside the thing, this material, there are bunches of it inside the accelerator, and the electromagnets do this. To make it go around and around like that, and it makes this like gyro inside. And this gyro rises up out of it like this. And when that happens, it goes off into the centrifugal zone, and then it's recaptured back in like this, and then done it again. So it's this every three times a second or more, depending on how fast you want to accelerate.
Right.
How much load you have to pick, because the more, say 1 kilogram, the faster it goes, the more relative mass the material has. So for every kilogram that's in there, say if it's moving at the speed of sound, that's 1 kilogram times 1,000, because of the speed of sound at sea level is 1,000 meters a second. So the amount of relative force it has, force is equal to mass times velocity.
Right.
Yeah. So, how much force? 1 kilogram at 1,000 meters a second is equal to 1,000 kilograms. So 1,000 kilograms going around the centrifugal zone of, say, 30 centimeters. Okay? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 1,000 times 1,000 centrifugal force is mass times velocity squared over divided by radius over r. So 1,000, 1 kilogram, have it in relative mass of 1,000 kilograms, going around a 30 centimeter radius. Yeah, so 1,000 squared is 1,000,000, right? Or no, it's 1,000 squared is, if you take the 1, 1,000 plus
3 zeros.
Yeah, 1,000 times 1,000, so it'd be 6 zeros. So 1 plus 6 zeros.
So it's 1,000,000, yeah.
Yeah, it is 1,000,000. Yeah, I had it right. So that is 1,000,000 divided by 30 centimeters, which is 0.3 0.33 meters. Okay. You know how much force that is? That's
Yep.
a lot of force.
It's going to break a plastic cup.
Oh, it would certainly break a plastic cup. It would certainly blow through that. No, see this machine, this motor, built out of laminated pole pieces. The accelerator is built from the bottom out, and then comes out to the bottom of the accelerator. Comes up this thing called a mezzanine, which is the thing that holds the accelerator. Where also the recollection zone bolts to. Okay, and then there's what I call the tiara, which is the crown, which is basically that. That's the tiara. Okay, so you got basically 4 or 5 parts, general parts, but they're all made out of, the accelerator is made out of sheet metal, iron, just tin, cut and layered, bolted, laminated, glued, and then wound in stages. So stage 1, stage 2, through stage 7. By the time it hits stage 7, we got it going around this accelerator at breakneck speeds,
Yeah.
orders of magnitude of velocity. See, that's what makes it work. So there's how that's gonna go. So we're taking I guess See, if I leave it long, when it does, it'll go right. That won't be too exciting. I want it to actually jump off there and go fly.
Right.
Right? That'd be more fun. So that's why we want this. I want the length of this measured just right to where when it does do its thing and it'll escape off of there and it'll be in the air and it'll like crazy and it'll be spinning once it's just for fun, right? The whole idea though is to demonstrate the whole principle of using horizontal angular acceleration in a vortice to produce orders of magnitude of velocity in a linear fashion and to extract that conserved momentum. And the process of extraction, the material is slowed down in velocity. So that's the other thing that makes it work. So you have a very tight radius that doing the work, and then a real wide radius recollecting it. Plus the fact that the material is going slower than it in a velocity after it's hit that zone, and its conserved momentum is absorbed. So because of that, it's basically the big pulley. It's the little pulley. The force at the little pulley being greater than the force of the big pulley. The reason why a belt doesn't go flying is because there's not enough mass, number one, usually. And number two, if you're to put a belt horizontal, and the reason why it doesn't go, down the river like that Sorensen thruster does, which is actually a momental thruster that actually works. It actually works. Back in the 30s, this Sorensen guy come up with it. The analyses that I've seen online about it are wrong. They got it backwards. I've got a graphic on the screen over here. That I made. The computer's not booted up right now. But basically, here I'll show you that right here while we're talking about it. The Sorensen thruster uses this mechanical device, and I'll use this. And that'd be one to spin up for fun. Okay, anyway, I got quite a few other things I want to just spin up in that drill like that, just for fun. Actually, really more. It's a good study. This one will demonstrate how it easily comes up this angle, but then doesn't climb up that really steep taper so fast. So you can real low RPM gets it up in there, but it takes a whole bunch to get it to escape out of there after it gets up in this zone. But that would be a good demonstration, I think. But anyway, the Sorensen one, basically here, it uses this apparatus, these gears, They go around and around, and the pattern. Oh yeah, here this works.
Careful you don't lose all your marbles and stuff. They're all over the floor.
Oh, I'll have to pick them up. I'm looking for that magnet. I'm having that magnet.
So you're well on your way to becoming a rodeo star there.
What's that?
With all of those.
Oh.
You know how you become a bull rider. You go to Walmart and you buy a bag of marbles and you dump them in your pocket. Every time you do something really stupid, you take one out and throw it away. And once you've lost all your marbles, you're ready to be a bull rider.
Oh, I see. It works. All right, what happened to the pin now? I'm such a space cadet sometimes. That's why I'm trying to get into outer space, so I'll feel more comfortable there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, we have an appointment. We have a not an appointment. It's actually an invitation to attend a meeting on the backside of the moon. And we're not allowed to get there with rockets or balloons or wings or anything conventional. That we have to use one thing. We have to use the Holy Grail of propulsion to get there. So, what did happen to that pin?
Oh. Couldn't have went too far.
No,
You didn't go nowhere.
Something. It's not up here. It's not right there. It's not. We go through this all the time. It's not. Shit just vanishes on its own. And I look everywhere for it, and then I find it clear across the room where I never even went to.
Right.
That kind of stuff. It's just, gosh.
Get mixed up in the newspaper down there, did it?
Oh, here it is. Here it is. There's the magnet right there. Now I can do that demonstration in this bowl like I wanted to in the first place. Here, put this like this. Here, see? So this is, well, this bowl's kind of thick, but you get the idea. So basically, and how it would end up going. When you get going fast enough, it goes. And there's enough of it in there, and in with the fluid, it'll spread out in there, and
Right.
There's not a whole lot there, but basically, we got a whole one of the projects we got to do here in the cleaning up this place and getting it ready is taking the speaker frames. I have no plans on reconing all of the ones, the cheapo 5-watt speakers, all of those, I got stacks of them. The magnets come off and they get smashed into this stuff. Look, you can see it standing up there. Anyway, so then additionally, well, we need people to donate, and we'll take some of that money and we'll go over to Two Brothers Junk and we'll buy some more speaker magnets, some bunches of them, get all they have. So that we can have a smashing party. And smash and smash and smash. And smash all these speaker magnets to bits and smithereens to have that power and to make some of that. Because we're going to need, in order to make just the one craft, I need to have 4 of these. 1 for each corner to go in place. But just think of like a race car, nice looking race car. And take the wheels off and mount to where the wheels go, mount these thrusters. Put them on gimbals. Of course, you need, each one's got to have a thrust control, how much thrust it's producing, and then each one's on a gimbal, and then set the controls up. Here, I like this. I did like a trackball. That's how I want to do it. Trackball on each side. So one side gets gimbal control, forward and back and left and right. Okay, and then gets counteractive gimbal control. So in other words, they do opposite this way. So you can turn this way and you rotate. So you can go off and you get rotation. It goes around and around and around until you straighten it back up again.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go forward without tilting, without just so in other words, this one over here, okay, would be pitch, okay, yaw, and roll. Yaw, pitch, and roll here. Okay. And then on this one, you get actually, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Yeah, this wouldn't be roll and pitch, okay? And then on one of them, yeah, you can put yaw over here on this side. And then on this side, you put level forward, move level forward and back level or side to side level, and then put thrust. Yeah, huh? So yaw, pitch, and roll on this side, thrust, and so you could do here, you do this, like that, and you want to thrust, you do that, right, like that. And then over here on this side, you know, okay, and then, this way. So you do that, and you're this way. Roll it back, you stop. And then roll it that way, you do this. Right? So you could be doing this if you want. So if you say really slow and you want to do an observation, you're out here, you're doing an observation, right? While you're observing, you come over. If you want to slide over here, you go like this, and it goes while it's observing. See? Yeah. And then forward and it's like so. It's like you get every possible function. Primary thrust coming basically this way. You can't think of it this way because it's this way. See, here's a good example of how this thing actually works. See that? So the actual thrust in the case of biased centrifugal force propulsion or biased kinetic force propulsion, it really is a pushing thing on one surface, but it's a pulling thing on everything else. See?
Right.
Because as it pushes here, it's actually pulling the rest of it. So if you had something else attached to it while it's going, it's actually pushing from within.
Right.
Yeah. See, and that's weird to think about, and kind of unintuitive. But anyway, I was going to show you the Thornton one. It's out on the website on psa.anoldmasterjukes.com. I don't have the I don't have the Public Space Association.space website built yet. It's just got out there. Welcome to Public Space Association. And then it's got a donate button. Anyway, the Thornton drive, it's got a mechanism that takes a weight and it goes around in a circle like this. It goes around like this, like this, like this, and then like this, like that. Okay? And so if you can imagine a dot going around here, so an arrow, and there's your arrow, here's your arrow of direction and your arrow of direction, okay? So I see analysis online with this guy. They say the force is coming off of here, right? It's like, no, not it. So the diameter, the radius here, and the radius here, the radius here, and the radius here are all the same. Okay? So from this point, the analysis, from that point there, and that point there, this one cancels, that one cancels, this one, and these cancel each other. So the only effective forces that are negative here are here. Okay. See? Mm-hmm. And there's no negative force, no positive forces anywhere except here. So now, this is a really tight little radius. This is a really wide radius. It's a big pulley and little pulley. It's still a big pulley, little pulley thing. The little pulley is going to produce more centrifugal force. When it comes over here, a little bit, boom, a lot. A little bit, boom, a lot. See?
Yeah.
Okay? That's where the force is produced.
Right.
You do the math, F1 or F1 at R1, okay? Where F1 at R1 is greater than F2 or F3 at R2 or R3, then you have biased force towards the direction of F1. Anytime F1 is greater than F2, you will have work in the direction of F1. This is a physical law. Anyway, so I think that's, what do you think?
Sounds like it might work.
Might. It's sure looking like there's a lot of potential, huh? Like most everything, what they call inertial propulsion, biased kinetic force propulsion is a more correct term for one that works. See, this one works. It's biased kinetic force. It works. Versus inertial propulsion, where you see a lot of them out online. There's this one that got this thing that goes around, and it's got this like little shit that just shifts its center, the center of the axle. And because of that shift, it produces a little bit of force. It crawls along about an inch. Well, the thing's going running thousands of RPM, and it's crawling on, like an inch at a time, like a little, like it's like the hour hand on a clock. Anyway, so yeah, it's about it's called an inertial propulsor. I believe it because it doesn't do much, like an inert gas.
Right.
They don't do much.
I think I'm going to wander on and try to catch a couple hours sleep.
Okay.
Now that I know that your house is on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Now I have to beat on the wall and wait for Sabrina up.
Gotta pee.